Greetings, everyone, and welcome. Nanette Victoria here with the midweek miracle meditation for contemplation. Good to be with you. This is going to be a series, as I shared last week. We're going to be going through the 6 stages of the development of trust in the teacher's manual from A Course in Miracles. It's a beautiful portion of the book in the latter part of A Course in Miracles. I read from the, well, actually, I have the second edition, but I read from the web edition, www.acim.org, the original publishing company of A Course in Miracles. But this is an incredible part of the book in the teacher's manual. I think for a lot of us right now, can be very, very helpful in deepening our connectivity in the divine and a deeper surrender, abandonment to the truth. So let us begin with closing our eyes for a moment, acknowledging the presence of the silence, sacred silence within. Awareness. A breath, a holy breath in this holy instant, moving us as us, as if resting in a river of eternity, flowing in an endless dance of love itself. Let us be still. Trust. Trust in the movement of the river of divinity in us, as us. Amen. Let me pull this up. So last week, I shared on the overview of what we will be resting with and contemplating for the next few weeks. This is a section in A Course in Miracles. I'm picking up my book, which is very ancient. It's falling apart. But this is in the teacher's manual. This is a section that is, well, if you're reading the second edition hard copy, it's on page 9 in the teacher's manual. What are the characteristics of a teachers of God? And so it's going to go through that. But the first one, which all the rest rely on, is trust. And so we're going to go through this and break it down, asking yourself, where are you? How is this relating to you today in the journey, in the divine? So this week's focus, development of trust, the first stage, the undoing. And trusting in a power greater than ourselves to guide us in all areas of our lives. Our life is a movement of deep heartfelt surrender. Willingness is the key. Conviction and faith in this power always demonstrates bountiful fruit. The undoing of the false character is a necessary process. Okay, So, from A Course in Miracles, and this is a descriptive in the writing. Trust. This is the foundation of which their ability to fulfill their function rests. So this is talking about the general idea of trust of a teacher of God, a messenger of God. Trust. This is the foundation of which their ability to fulfill their function rests. Perception is the result of learning. In fact, perception is learning because cause and effect are never separated. The teachers of God have trust in the world because they have learned. It is not governed by the laws of the world made up. It is governed by a power that is in them, but not of them. It is governed by a power in them, but not of them. It is this power that keeps all things safe. It is through this power that the teachers of God look on a forgiven world. When this power has once been experienced, it is impossible to trust one's own petty strength again. Who would attempt to fly with the tiny wings of a sparrow when the mighty power of an eagle has been given him? And who would place his faith in the shabby offerings of the ego when the gifts of God are laid before him? What is it that induces them to make the shift? And so here we go with the first stage of the development of trust. First, just for today, we're focusing on the first stage in development of trust as a messenger of God. Carry the message. Some of us are familiar with step 12 in recovery process. Carrying message. First stage, first development of trust. First, they must go through what might be called a period of undoing. This need not be painful, but it usually is so experienced. It seems as if things are being taken away, and it is really understood initially that their lack of value is merely being recognized. How can lack of value be perceived unless the perceiver is in a position where he must see things in a different light? He is not yet at a point at which he can make the shift entirely internally. And so, the plan will sometimes call for changes in what seem to be external circumstances. These changes are always helpful when the teacher of God has learned that much. He goes on to the second stage. So this time of undoing, and again, there can be layers of this, but this is where some of us will hit a bottom. It could be in many different. Some can hit a bottom in addiction. Some can hit a bottom with physical sickness, and it appears as if things are breaking down. One doesn't know how it's going to show up in our individual lives. There is only one. The Course is talking about all of us, and yet individually, undivided, we're not separate, but we each have our own seed assignment. So in the development of trust, when we have just a hint of the divine nature of what is our source, our creator, came to experience the divine, resting in the ineffable, in a non-dual sense, even for a moment, then as we move through this world, this earthly existence in this body temple, things in our life might seem to be shifting, changing. Old ideas begin to get questioned. Relationships might shift and change. The experiencing of an uncomfortability is because of the egoic attachment. The self structure starts to become undone. This is the first stage of developing trust in this power, being empowered. Powerlessness over the egoic pain body, but coming to understand the pain is because of the attachment to the egoic system. This system, failed system, false character. Many ways to say it, but this is the period of undoing. Some may be at the beginning stage. We're going to go through these different stages. There's another stage that you'll know which stage you're in as we go through this. The undoing is we're really questioning everything, and it'll appear as if things are being removed. Okay, so an addiction could be removed, a relationship could be removed, and it could be removed in a lot of different types of ways. It I believe it's pertinent to whatever your particular journey is at the time. The idea is to trust in that process. Yes, God, yes. This undoing process, I refer to it as, for me, that doesn't get on the throne anymore. God is God. And all of these things that maybe were obstacles to this trusting, to this development of hearing and resting. I listened today, one of my teachers has passed on, but never met him in person, but through online workshops, Father Keating, and he talked about trusting in God, and he talked about the non-dual truth, which it's really beyond experience. What I love about him as a guide on my journey, a mentor, he embraced everything, and was embodied in that unity, that unitive flow. There is only God, there is only stillness. We are that stillness, but we're going to see all of these things in the outer will be teaching us about the inward. The outer is a picture of an inward condition. Rest, be still. The more we can rest in the stillness, in the silence, not so much choosing to meditate, but being meditated through, being called to be still with God. Let the undoing happen. We can learn through joy. We can. So, but as we all can maybe identify, the ego it doesn't get dismantled without a little bit of a fuss. So, but it's not us. We are not that. I pray peace, trust. Where you are in this sacred moment is in a divine place of exactly where you always need to be. Let go, release, rest. I love you, mighty companions.